The air hung heavy with smoke and the unforgiving stench of burning homes. Amina's breath came in ragged gasps as she crouched behind a shattered wall, her eyes wide, darting through the chaos engulfing her once peaceful village. Around her, the echo of gunfire and the desperate cries of the displaced tore through the dense silence that had clung to these lands for far too long. But what had brought this shattered world crashing down around Amina? How did she endure when hope seemed all but lost? It was 2014, in a remote war-torn region whose name had faded from the headlines but whose scars ran deep. The earth beneath her was slick with mud and ash, the sharp scent of diesel mingling with the distant thunder of artillery. Amina, then barely 20, had lived a quiet life, one where the simplest moments were soaked in calm, the laughter of children playing in the dusty streets, the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting through the air, the soft whisper of the evening breeze brushing against her face. That fragile calm shattered one grim dawn when the first missiles tore through the stillness. Explosions swallowed the skyline as fire consumed homes and dreams alike. The village became a crucible of survival, every second charged with the terror of the unknown. Amina's family was torn apart amidst the chaos. Forced to flee, she barely remembered the suffocating smoke cloud or the ground trembling beneath her racing feet. In those terrifying moments, she discovered what war truly demanded: unbearable sacrifices and impossible choices. Her father, a stoic man, was lost in the smoke, his final words a desperate plea to keep moving. Her mother clung to Amina's trembling hand, guiding her to a narrow path winding towards uncertain safety. They joined a flood of refugees, a river of humanity driven by fear and hunger, moving through scorched fields and abandoned homes. Each step carried weight, each night whispered tales of loss. The sun was relentless, baking the cracked earth, while the nights brought cold silence interrupted only by distant cries. Amina learned to navigate not just the terrain but the raw edges of human resilience. Hunger gnawed at her insides, exhaustion threatened to collapse her spirit. Yet something stronger kept her limbs moving, a flicker of hope, fragile but fiercely alive. The roads were perilous, rife with checkpoints and soldiers whose faces held cold authority and suspicion. Amina's group faced brutal interrogations and moments where all seemed lost. Once, a sudden ambush left many wounded, forcing her to witness the haunting agony of her companions. But surrender was a luxury they could not afford. They pressed on, driven by the desperate yearning for peace and a place to call sanctuary. Crossing borders meant stripping away layers of identity and dignity. Camps became temporary homes, but safety was a fragile illusion. Amina endured the grinding monotony and despair of displacement, tiny tents crowded in muddy fields, scarce food, and the silent struggle against despair. Here, the real battle began, not against gunfire, but against the invisible enemy of hopelessness. Amidst this bleakness, Amina's story diverged from others. She found unexpected allies, humanitarian workers who saw past the refugee label, offering quiet kindness. She seized education opportunities, learning languages and skills that would become her lifeline. Her eyes, once wide with terror, grew sharp and determined. Every night, she penned letters to the family she feared she would never see again, each word a testament to survival. But the truth they hid about Amina goes deeper than mere survival. Documents recently declassified reveal the complexity cloaking her journey, a hidden network of resistance, a shadowed path where refugees like her became silent witnesses, and sometimes, reluctant participants in the undercurrents of conflict. Amina's story is intertwined with those untold histories, the betrayals, the lost alliances, and the wrenching moral dilemmas faced by those caught between violence and survival. Her resilience is not just an individual victory, but a mirror reflecting the countless nameless faces swallowed by history's silence. The brutal realities of displacement expose a world where hope is a weapon as powerful as any bullet. It's a saga that challenges the glamorized tales of war and reveals the true human cost beneath rubble and headlines. Today, Amina lives far from the village where her nightmare began. Yet the past shadows her footsteps, a reminder that peace is often paid for in unimaginable currency. Her story begs a lingering question: what sacrifices would you make for a chance at peace? Would you dare to claw your way through fire and sorrow, holding on to hope when everything whispers surrender? Amina's journey forces us to confront the terrifying truths scholarship and history sometimes choose to bury. Behind every statistic lies a human heart beating stubbornly against despair.